Hello everybody! So today we're going to break down another supposed plot leak for Avengers Doomsday. We'll go through the main beats in detail, then wrap up with the verdict on whether the leak sounds believable based on everything we already know and the upcoming movie. The story allegedly opens directly from the Fantastic Four post-credit scene. Sue Storm discovers a hooded intruder standing beside Franklin. She attacks immediately, only to realize she is facing Doctor Doom, who quickly proves he is not there as an enemy. Doom explains that he has arrived from Earth 616, a branch of the MCU primary secret timeline, born the moment Steve Rogers altered history. In this offshoot reality, Tony Stark's life takes a very different path, and he ultimately becomes Victor Von Doom. His biography mirrors Tony's in many ways. He lives through Thanos' snap, is left monstrously scarred, and can only survive inside the armor. Later, a space-time catastrophe takes his wife and child from him. Doom becomes convinced that Steve's time meddling was the spark that triggered the multiversal incursions, which will eventually erase every reality. From there, the film is structured around four main factions: the classic Avengers, the new Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the Wakanda Talokan Alliance. The young Avengers do appear, but they are intentionally kept in the background and saved for Secret Wars. Once the Thunderbolts post-credit scene ends, the first major incursion hits. Doom and the Fantastic Four arrive on Earth 616 and Wakanda joins forces with them. Together, they attempt to halt the collision of worlds using teleportation tech originally built to combat Galactus. They manage to delay the catastrophe twice, but the second attempt drains the planet's energy reserves and triggers a third, for more devastating incursion. Forced to look elsewhere for answers, the heroes travel to an alternate Earth and run directly into a peaceful X-Men universe. The defenses of that world instantly flag Franklin as an Omega-level threat, and Sentinels strike first. Franklin's acting purely on instinct unleashes his powers in a way that stuns everyone, even Doctor Doom himself. The team reaches the X-Mansion, tensions spike, and only Monica Rambeau manages to defuse the standoff. Behind the scenes, Doom quietly befriends Franklin, then hijacks the Fantastic Four ship and vanishes into space with the boy, while the others returns to 616, now desperate to stop Doom and bring Franklin home. All of this supposedly happens within the first hour of the movie. On the top of that, the leak includes a huge bundle of extra bullet points details. One describes a sequence where Sam Wilson's Avengers and the new Avengers both converged on the Fantastic Four ship the very first time it appears in 616. Sam's team gets there first. Thor, sent on his way by his daughter Love, joins them and becomes one of the first to meet the Fantastic Four, in a scene that reportedly echoes his introduction to the Guardians in Infinity War. Another section focuses on Doom's inner circle. He is said to have close quarter of about 4 followers, including 3 shape-shifting witches. The leak speculates that these might be Black Swans from the comics. Their designs are spelled out. One is in purple cloak with a gold mask, one is in orange with a matching mask, and the third in a classic green Doom-style cloak. Clea and Sylvia may also stand on Doom's side. Haley Atwell supposedly plays multiple roles and was even seen in the full Doom gear. Likely the leak suggests as one of the witches, mimicking his appearance rather than Doom himself. Loki, for his part, doesn't assemble his own multiversal Avengers, so there is no separate Loki team or TVA-backed Avengers squad in this version. The notes mention an important conversation between Franklin and Doom, though it is unclear exactly how it's gonna work given Franklin's young age. Gambit and Yelena cross paths and interact in several scenes. There are no Doom variants, but there are multiple Doom bots, and Doom himself cycles through the several masks. Steve Rogers really does wield Mjolnir, again, without the gauntlet, and is heavily involved in the action. The Sentry's costume matches what we see in Thunderbolts, while Ant-Man wears the same suit as in Endgame. We're told to expect flashbacks exploring Doom's origin and heavy emphasis on character relationships, scenes between Sam and Bucky, Steve and Sam, Steve and Scott, and more, filling the movie with emotional connection tissue. The X-Men most likely hail from the same universe as Gambit, but not necessarily the classic Fox timeline. Characters constantly jump between realities without realizing they are accelerating the very incursions threatening those worlds. Steve eventually hands Mjolnir back to Thor because he doesn't rely on it often. The X-Mansion is destroyed, something that lines up neatly with images from the early trailers, by the way. Only X-Men whose casting is already locked in are set to appear. Rogue, Jean Grey, and Storm are specifically called out as absent. This is also where the rivalry between Reed Richards and Doom begins. Steve's son is supposedly named James, though that has not been confirmed. Early on, Doom doesn't yet know who is truly responsible for his tragedies. Once he pieces that all together, he decides everyone involved has to pay. The lag promises interactions between the Sentry and Gambit, as well as between Sue Storm and Namor. Sam's Avengers team is already fully formed at the very start of the movie. Steve uses a cracked Mjolnir, apparently the same one we saw in Thor Love and Thunder. The thing straightens John Walker's shield by hand. Red Guardian receives a new shield that resembles his Black Widow gear. Steve's son appears as an adult. The teaser showing him might actually be a flashback. Steve sports a beard and Doom wears his mask for roughly 90% of the movie. And Gambit wears an all-black suit and is first seen in the Baxter building. Doom cycles through 3 different armors in total. From day one, Steve Rogers doesn't trust Doom, which creates internal conflict with the team, and later Doom finally uncovers the true cause of his suffering. One big question is where Doctor Strange is during all of this time. If Clea has already been working with Doom, their alliance with Strange could have formed before Doomsday ever begins, explaining both Strange's long absence and why he later becomes a kind of sheriff in Secret Wars, mirroring his role in the comics. Some earlier speculation suggested the Avengers, or at least Steve, would side with Doom only because of his uncanny resemblance to Tony Stark. In that version, Bucky and Sam, who do not entirely trust Tony, would follow Steve's lead regardless. But in this league, Steve in any way is wary of Doom's from the start. But in this league, Steve is suspicious of Doom from the start of the movie. Strange, not Steve, is more likely to be the bridge that brings everybody together. How real is this? Right now, it's better not to trust everything too much. Most new leaks feel like they just mix together rumors we already know. There is also one clear pattern though. Almost every leak goes into a lot of detail about the beginning of the first half of the Avengers Doomsday, but almost no one explains the ending. The only small exception was one early claim that some heroes might hide in the quantum realm when the multiverse starts falling apart. In practice, even the biggest spoilers barely touch the second half of the movie. This is actually good news, because it means Marvel is still hiding the real finale. If they want to keep the mystery, they clearly still can. Okay, so guys, if they want to keep real mystery, they clearly still can. Okay, this is it for today, guys. Subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of content. Bye.